And then there's other days where I feel like I'm more like the woman caught in adultery. I'm full of shame, full of guilt. And I feel like I'm not even worthy enough to step into a church. And I feel like if people really knew my heart, then they would pick up the stones and they would stone me right then and there. But the reality is, my friends, it doesn't matter whether you think you're perfect or whether you feel like you're not even worthy enough to be here. It doesn't matter, because standing in front of God, you and I, none of us would measure up. We would all fall short. And you don't have to measure up, because it's all been done for you. That's what happened on the cross. The price is paid. All you have to do is receive it. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Picture it like this. You get a letter in the mail. You're invited or ordered to come to court. And you walk in the courtroom and the judge is unrolling this big scroll. And on that scroll is every deed and thought and action and sin you've ever committed in your life. And one by one, he starts going down this list. And for every little sin, big or small, because sin, big or small, ultimately leads to death, he starts to assign the death penalty. One by one, he's going down that list. You and I, we would not be able to withstand that pressure. None of us would. And then the judge stands up. He takes off his robes, he moves you aside, and he stands in your place. My friends, that's exactly what happened at the cross. That's the Christmas story. And that's why we depict it in such a brutal way, because there's nothing beautiful about it. It's a very ugly scene, but there is something beautiful about it, because that's what brings our salvation. And now we can look at the woman caught in adultery, and we can look at somebody like her. And if the God of the universe, the creator who created every single person in here and everything you see, if he can look at her and say, hey, it's worth it for me to die for you, then maybe you and I can look at each other in that same way with a little bit more grace, forgiveness, and love this Christmas season. I want to challenge you tonight. When you go home, you put your kids to bed, and it's that time for you to lay your head in your pillow. It's that time of night where you're alone with your thoughts again. Don't think about work on Monday. Don't think about those things that you've been worried about, those things that you've been dragging along with you for the last several years. I challenge you to think back to the sanctuary, the stage, the story of the cross, and let it one more time renew you. I also know there's people that walked in here today, you might have never stepped into a church. It might be your first time, maybe one of your friends dragged you in. For you, I will challenge you to challenge God tonight. And I promise you, He will respond. I want to give you that opportunity. I want to say a little prayer. It's a prayer I've said many times before. The majority of people in here have probably said this prayer many times. It's a short prayer, but I want to get everyone involved. And I'm going to ask you, when you repeat these words after me, don't just repeat them. Open your mind, open your heart. And I promise you that you're going to get a response to those answers and those worries and those questions that have been on your mind. So if I can get everyone to close their eyes and bow your heads and repeat after me. Jesus, thank you for what you did for me on the cross.
Thank you for what you did for me on the cross.
Thank you that you came.
Thank you that you came.
That you died.
That you died.
That you rose again.
You rose again.
On my behalf.
On my behalf.
Thank you that you knew my name before I knew yours.
Thank you that you knew my name before you knew yours.
I believe that you are the Son of God.
I believe you are the Son of God.
You died for my sins.
You died for my sins.
And I get to spend eternity with you.
And I get to spend eternity with you.
Today, I choose to follow you.
I choose to follow you.
All the days of my life.
All the days of my life.
Amen. But friends, if you said that prayer for the first time, I would urge you, we have a little prayer table out there. There's people that are willing to pray with you. Don't walk out of those doors the same person that you were when you walked in. Stop by, have somebody pray with you. If you're somebody who's been a believer all your life, but you're struggling, you got something going on in your life, get that off your chest. Get that. Don't take that stuff home with you. Ask somebody to pray with you.